neighbors, children, grandchildren, coffee, hot dogs, cake, anything else.
Jane, the meeting has started, so nothing political.
But I asked him.
That's fine. We had an issue with this where you were quoted on the front page of the newspaper because somebody gave a political speech after the meeting started.
I asked him.
So respectfully, I know, but respectfully, nothing political during a meeting. If it was before the meeting, that's fine.
All right. Roll call.
Shane Bailey.
Present.
Darren Howell.
Yep.
Donald Miller.
Present.
Craig Spewak. Not present. Teresa Stratton.
Here.
Randy Thorpe.
There.
Jane Barco.
There.
Mayor Chip Narella.
Here.
Attorney Chris Farrell.
Here.
Michelle Bugolski here. Heather Hess. Not here.
Okay. Thank you, Shelley. Minutes in previous meeting. Everyone get a copy of it? Take a peek. The copies for everybody. Everybody's like-
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Randy made a motion, Teresa seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Motion passes. Bill list?
I have one addition. It's to YCG Incorporated for our police calibrations, $55. That's all I have.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills with the one addition.
Second.
Randy made a motion, Donnie seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Motion passes to pay the bills. Police chief. How are you, Fred?
How are you today?
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah. There we go.
All right, here we go. This is the monthly report for May, our police report. Disabled vehicles, we have one. Assisted other police agencies with three. Welfare checks on homes were one. Motor vehicle accidents, there were three. Public assist for motorists, there was one. Suspicious persons, we had two. Suspicious vehicles, two. Thefts, there was one. Written warnings issued, one. Written traffic citations, there were three. 14 ongoing investigations and 51 calls for one.
Thank you, chief. Any questions for the chief? Fire truckers? What's up, Aaron?
How we doing? We had 13 calls. Like I said, we're going to break it down. 13 calls for the last month out of the thing. Slow month, it was nice. Thank everybody for coming out to picnic, the parade.
Yeah, that was
Great event on the thing. And thank everybody again for all their support.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Fire department? Okay.
This is the ambulance report for May. There are 75 dispatches, response 69, unavailable 6. 17 calls were in Waymart Girl, with one going to mutual aid.
Thanks, Jane. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, I'm gonna add to Fred's report. Police fines collected from May 14th, June 6th, 11, $1,265.45. Okay, I have a few words to say. First of all, I'd like to thank parties in the park, Michelle Tuplati and her committee, plus the Waymart Fire Company and all involved for a beautiful parade and a well attended and a great time at the Fireman's Grove. Awesome, awesome. I would also like to thank Senator Brown for taking time out with her aide, Don Miller, to participate in our parade. We had a beautiful day, everything went well. First of all, I want to thank Jane Varco for the grant that she got for the ball field and all the other grants she gets for the borough. And I'd like to thank Joe Gilat for all his volunteer work on engineering for the park. I have lived in Waymart over 52 years. The Little League and men's softball used the field with priority to the Little League, which was insured by Doug Bailey and Michelle Taquati, who were former council members responsible for the field. It is hard for me to believe that to make it a World Series or All-Star Little League field, spending $900,000 plus. Our borough needs grants that can help us fix our streets and roads, funds for our police department and fire department. I personally feel it is wasting the taxpayers' money. All the changes you want to do can be done and keep it so Little League and men's softball can use it without spending all the money. And what a sight will the Green Monster be. Remember, we use the field for lifeline to land. Someone mentioned if we give back the $500,000, we'll probably never get a grant again. I disagree. My thoughts are to spruce up the field. We can explain to the powers to be our project changed because of the property. We wanted to buy, the property owner changed his mind. By doing what you have planned, we'll bring expenses to the borough. We'll maintain the field. We will have costs for lights, water, and sewer. I also believe that Joe Gilat should be paid for his time and effort and paid out of the grant money for over 60 hours of volunteer time. Now, I'll go to the Ontario shed. It was put out for bid and we received one bid. I believe the bid came in at $7,000 or so over the suggested bid, grant money. The inflation that occurred after COVID, everything went up and still going up. We've been sitting and talking about this project for a few years, maybe 6 years plus. I feel we should have it built. Wayside Park, something that should be focused on for our little children of Waymart. Let's get it done so they can enjoy this summer. We've talked about that a long time. And our street stop signs need to be replaced. Our crosswalks and stop lines need to be painted. What happened to the new garage doors and openers for the borough garage? We need to start working on our past projects and not put them on the back burners. I have the best interests of the borough at heart. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Questions, thoughts, concerns for the mayor? Moving on. Solicitor's report.
Regarding the title searches, we have title searches regarding the Wayside Park. I need permission to get title insurance. It shouldn't be more than $2,000, but I hate to have to come back next month. It's going to be more. That's going to be based on the title insurance company. So I'd like permission to order title insurance based on the title searches that were done with a cap of $4,000. And again, I do not expect it to be any more.
Is that paid for by the grant you have?
No.
Council? Thoughts, questions, concerns? We need to make a vote.
And without that, there won't be any certification regarding fitness of title. It's required.
Council? Any thoughts or concerns? Yeah, if we gotta do it, we gotta do it. So, we'll make a motion to purchase title insurance
With a cap of $4,000.
with a cap of $4,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Darren, seconded by Teresa. All in favor? Nays? Motion passes. Jane. Solicitor?
That's all I have.
Okay. Oh, my apologies, Joe. Skip right over it. Zoning officers report.
I don't have a report.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. And then the zoning
They
board.
issued 2 permits, and,
Yeah,
I got us a bunch of new maps for the GSI maps. So I have all the parcel numbers for everybody in the borough now.
the updated maps
Yes,
Oh,
I'll get a brand new one.
with the changes that we had over.
The GSI,
Oh, gotcha.
is the, like, it shows like, each parcel with the number affiliated with that parcel. This way I can look it up and I know who to, write letters to, you know. stuff like that.
Okay.
And I also like, you know, we discussed as well as me and a few others about starting a zoning hearing board.
Yes.
So that's gonna be something that, you know, I can tell people about, and we can get some people to get on board with that.
How many people do you need?
4 for the board and then a solicitor. It has to be separate than,
Okay.
the road
Because
solicitor.
we have half of a zoning board, right, Jane? But I think someone moved. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, maybe somebody from the fire department, you know,
Mhm.
I told you about that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some business owners in town who are involved with
It's a
it.
great idea.
I was solicitor for the zoning board for, I think, for about 10 years. There was never one issue that came up.
Okay.
They're coming up more and more.
Yeah,
They
well,
really
that's,
are.
So you should have.
I'd like to get that updated. I mean, if that's something we could do now.
I have
or we have to
probably
get
about
volunteers.
10 to 15 zoning hearings a year.
It's usually an odd number though, isn't it? It isn't 4. It's odd number so that
They've had
when
three.
they both.
Hold on. I only know 4. I think 4 is 4. Maybe you might have to have 2 alternatives.
Yeah, there's
Two
usually,
alternates.
you're gonna have to break the tie, so it's definitely gonna be an odd number.
Yeah.
Let's check, see what it is. That's not a big deal.
Something we can do in new business if we have anybody here that's interested. What's that?
It is 5.
5? Okay. We have 5 volunteers to live in Waymart. Present today. There's 2. Anybody else? No? All right, well, I guess we'll continue that and we'll put the word out.
When we advertise for this, for council member, we don't advertise for anything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on the zoning board.
That's a great idea. Maybe you can help us write something up?
You guys put it in the paper for you?
Well, we have to advertise for a new council member to take Craig Spielak's seat, so, like Jane just said, we'll do it at that time. For the zoning, but we've got a couple people that are already willing to throw their hat in the ring, so that's great.
It's appointed by you guys.
Okay.
You guys appoint the people, so.
What are you trying to have the people from?
New business.
Oh.
Social support correspondence.
Just a couple things here. We got the certificate of liability for the Homer Dome and also the LCB license here. From Adams Cable, Blue Ridge. It's regarding a stock purchase agreement between Adams Cable and Blue Ridge Cable Technologies. Waymart Borough, we are excited to inform you that we have entered into an agreement pursuant to which Blue Ridge Cable Technologies, Inc., a Pennsylvania corp, will acquire all the issued and outstanding stock of the company, the change in control, after all conditions to closing, including obtaining all required regulatory approvals are met. Company's operations will continue on and will not be affected by the change in control. Closing of the transition is expected to occur in the third quarter of 2024. We are sending you this letter to provide you with a formal notice of the change of control and satisfaction of our obligations under the agreement. This notice will not modify the terms and conditions of the agreement Adams Cable TV has with your community, which shall remain in full force and effect and continue unaffected. Please remain a copy. If you have any questions, contact the department. Okay, and then finally, I have a letter from Council Member Craig Spielak. Dear council members, Attorney Farrell, Mayor Mirella, it's with a heavy heart I have to tender my resignation from council. Susan and I have started a new chapter in our lives, which after 29 years has us moving out of the borough. I truly enjoyed the years I have served on council. I pray that God gives you the wisdom and knowledge to
Shelley. We have to vote to accept that, right?
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Craig Spivak with regret. I'll second it with regret.
Jane made a motion, Teresa seconded it, all in favor? Aye. Any motion passes, thanks Greg for your service. Did you have anything else? Okay. Guests and citizens, Kyle?
Thanks, guys. First of all, to go along with what we sent in, I also gave police chief our letter stating that we're going to be serving alcohol times and days, so he has that, so his staff is aware. I prepared a speech. I appreciate Mr. Mayor and his comments as well. I really appreciate that. And you actually were the first person to grant us permission to run that home and home back in 2011, so I'm very grateful of that. I'd like to still stick to my script, even though he did say what he said. So here it is. So we, the softball groups and I, and Little League, we met on 2 occasions since the last council meeting. Unfortunately, any slight length modifications that would be made to the design is still not suitable for a majority of adult softball players, and there will not be another plan drawn up. As I've stated before, I have some safety concerns. The field is turned. There are many adults that would not be comfortable hitting balls towards the Belmont Street residences. If the field is turned, I'm worried somebody may hit a ground ball to shortstop, run to first, and the first baseman might be blinded by the sun, and something bad might happen, whether he gets struck with the ball or whatever. In this design that would be turning the field. I also worry about the many foul balls that would eventually hit a parked car, something I've never personally done in 22 years of playing in that field, but it certainly could happen if we change that. And I also have those same concerns for Little League when they play on it. Personally, if we do change this design and go with this plan, I will lose my personal enjoyment of running down all those fly balls due to a fence 20 to 35 feet shorter than in my favorite position of left field, something that once had given me the nickname Golden Glove by Councilman Bailey. I want to make it very clear, adult softball would love to use both grants and build a magnificent complex, but we've always wanted a complex that can continue to be used by everyone, not just ages 13 and under. So in saying that, I'm asking, if we are to continue with the grant, I'm asking council today to pass a motion to have a peer review performed on the Waymart Sports Complex project. It will be a collaborative opportunity for all of us to see, is this current design absolutely the best we can do? Can we do a little bit better? Can we do a lot better? And can our concerns be addressed? Collaboration would help us find that out. From my understanding, it would not put the borough at any risk of losing the grant from its existing timeline, nor would I want it to. And also from my understanding, it would be at no cost to Waymart Borough taxpayers. I'm also asking that the peer review be performed by a company who has many years' experience working with DCNR grants and one who has an outstanding relationship with Waymart Borough. To date, $23,000 has been donated by the Homeward Home funds to Waymart Borough for the field improvements. Not to mention the money we have already put in the field by purchasing much needed infield dirt for many years. This doesn't include the thousands of dollars the Little League has raised by having a concession open during our event. Obviously, the complex means a lot to me, and I've tried to do my part in taking care of it, and that's why I'm here. I believe we owe it to all of our Homeward Home sponsors, the adult softball community, the Little League community, and everyone who comes out to support our fundraiser, and anyone who might want to use the complex to do our due diligence in making this project the best possible outcome for everybody, a win for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Any council member want to say anything? Anybody else about the ball field or what Kyle just said?
This whole project started 6.5 years ago. At that time, the mayor was Jack Malone. We started on this project. We were lucky enough calculations and really worked on coming up with a design that would work on the size of the field that we have. I was here when the field was dedicated, and Bob Wilson Field, he would be very upset that we have not come to a compromise of how to do this and keep the money. You stated a couple things in what you said, Kyle, that I wished I could say was true, but I don't know how you can keep the money. I've done this now, I've been on council 52 years, I've done these grants over and over and over again. We have never got any objections the last 3 or 4 years. This has been presented every year, more than once, our council meetings. And now we're getting people that disagree, and I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is that this was the best design for the size of the field that we had. We went out and went everywhere to get this money. And we went everywhere and cried on everybody's shoulder. We met with the commissioners, we met with the senator, we met with the representative. We went everywhere to try to do this. We put in a number of grants that were denied to us. And it's been a very tasking road because we thought we were doing everything right. And now it seems like you think we're doing it wrong. I just don't know what else to say. I have had enough experience with grants, but I can tell you, we are going to lose the money. Period.
I don't think he's saying you're doing anything wrong. They just want to exhaust all possible options. Peer review doesn't cost us any money, and it's only going to be until the next meeting. I've been told to wait. I can wait 3 more weeks. I don't have an issue with the peer review. It doesn't cost anything, and we don't lose the grants.
And who is doing the peer review?
An engineer.
Well, nobody right now. It's something we have to vote on, but I guess really Joe can speak to this. We are voting on this tonight, council, in Waymart Borough, regardless of whether or not how this shakes out. If we want to do the peer review, make a motion, vote for it, do what you want. But Joe Gilat is bent over backwards. He met with Little League, he met with men's softball. I love men's softball. I've been part of men's softball for a long, long time. I played with those guys for forever. Joe has exhausted all options to stretch this field. We're being told 250 is okay with a higher fence. That's what Joe has designed. That's what's on our plate right now. That's what we're going to be voting on today to move this project forward. I don't think we have time for peer review. We are on a time crunch. But again, I'm 1 of 7, so whoever wants to put it on the table, please put it on the table. Joe, if you would like to speak to any of this, I guess we could do it now, or we can wait until old business is when we're going to bring this up and vote to move this project forward.
So I guess I just want to give council an update on where we've been the last month, since the last council meeting. We did meet with Kyle and the softball folks the week after the last council meeting. We went through a number of options. I met with Drew Morcom from Little League. After that, we did come up with some minor adjustments that could be done. We did get the left field fence out to about 243 feet with some options that we looked at. We met with Kyle and the softball folks at the field a week or so ago, and we pulled tape and we looked at options that people threw on the table, and we tried everything that we could think of to try to get more out of it. And the bottom line just comes down to that the property is just not big enough to stretch the fences and still comply with all the Little League requirements. At this point, I've basically put together a recommendation for council as far as an approach on how to proceed. So that recommendation is really to proceed with the scoreboards, bleachers, water and sewer for the concession stand, and then council can take the bids, take a look at what comes in and decide, first of all, how much can we afford? What are the priorities? One of the additional ad alternates was that I'm gonna recommend is that we consider putting a wall out in left field to stretch the fence to the maximum, to take it right to the property line, and alter the drainage design out there to accommodate that. And put that as an ad alternate, so when the bids come in, you can see what it costs. And you as council then can decide what are you gonna proceed with and what are you not gonna proceed with. So it's really, it's up to you at this point. You know, the design is there, we can put it out on the street with all those options, and we'll evaluate the bids when they come in. And you all have to make a decision at that point what you wanna do.
Right, it's a lengthy process. Bidding takes a month,
We have to
paperwork.
advertise, that's a minimum of 2 weeks, I believe, I don't remember the exact protocol, follow municipal procurement code for that. Then we'll put the bids on the street, we have to give the bidders at least 4 weeks, to put their bids together and get all their pricing in. Then the bids have to be evaluated, we have to get the insurances, the bonds, and all those things in place, so there's another 2 or 3 weeks after that, before we can issue a notice to proceed. So then the contractor has to procure material, so really, if we were to say tonight that to proceed, authorize us to move ahead and advertise, we really are looking at an August start at the earliest. I did have a conversation with the grant administrator at DCNR the other day. She's getting a little anxious, I guess, because the grant expires at the end of the year. If we don't get under construction in this construction season, the DCNR grant will expire. And they've already told us on more than one occasion that they are not extending it anymore, because they have extended it multiple years already. I spoke with Musco Lighting today, and after some back and forth with them, they have agreed to honor the $112,000 purchase agreement. The only thing that they have asked is that if we are gonna move forward, they would like to, enter into a new agreement with a current date on it, and they will honor that price. So that's where we are. At the point now, I think where council has to make a decision. I'm out of options.
If it was still Cal Ripken, would you still be doing all of this?
I don't know. I don't know the Cal Ripken requirements. I've only looked at Little League. Those requirements.
Why was it changed a little even from Cal Ripken?
I have no idea. Waymart area baseball folded up and was absorbed into Western Wayne Little League, which was the southern part of the school district. So it merged before I was involved in Little League.
Because kids can't play now. Kids can't afford to play Little League. They
No,
can play
it's too
Cal
expensive.
Ripken, but they can't afford to play Little League.
That's a question for Little League. I can't answer that.
Yeah, this field it's a community field, so we're not saying that men's softball, soccer, Little League, that nobody could use it. This field, we allow everybody, the town, everybody is allowed to use the field. Even people outside of the town are allowed to use this field. So, for the sake of time, for the sake of this conversation, we're gonna make a vote in unfinished business, okay? So, let's finish the guests and citizens and get down to unfinished business and make a vote. Because I'm personally sick and tired of talking about this. I want to get this project moved forward and see where it goes. Council, anybody? Joe Gelot, guess, do you have anything to touch on other than the ball field?
That's it.
Okay. Joe Blaskowitz?
Yes.
You're with
Wayne County Housing.
yeah, let's get you under new business.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
First of all, thank you for having us on new business tonight.
Well, yeah, we gotta get through a few more things. I apologize. This is guests and citizens,
Okay.
committee reports,
Sorry.
then we'll get to you. Okay. Ellen?
Yep, I'm with Joe.
Oh, Nicholas?
I'm also with Joe.
Okay, new business, we'll get to that. Committee reports. Jean?
One thing that all of you have to learn is patience. these grants take time. Sometimes years of time. For example, the material shed, we got an extension for another year. We raised the $7,000 or $8,000 in another way if we can. So we were moving on that. So that's
Right.
going to be another year.
That's also, if I can add to that, we talked to the grant people to ask them if we could break the bid up to save a couple extra dollars. So, Mr. Mayor, that's why it's taking the time that it's taking. Jane and I had to get an extension, and then Jane and I also had to talk to the people who give us the grant to see if we could split it up. So we're not dragging our ass on things. We are moving along on things, and we want to see things move forward. But there are 7 opinions on the board. We have to, things take time, like Jane said. So with respect, we are moving things forward. We're going to vote on the ball field tonight. The material shed, we still have a few more things to clean up. Like Jane said, we need a couple more dollars to make it so we can get the shed done. And our goal is to have it completed by December. Sorry, Jane.
No, thank you. All right, the DCNR grant to Wayside Park. DCNR is the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We've got $90,000. When I say we, I wrote it up, but I did it for all of you. And that was a matching grant, so we have $180,000 for Wayside Park. Jason, talking about people that we get other opinions with, and people that know what they're doing to meet the regulations of the state. And so that gives us $180,000. So what did Jason do? Jason Wood, he applied under another program that is called Greenways Program. And he is using that as a match. And he's applied for $235,000. And we don't have to put 1 cent in as a match. He is using our first grant as a match. I could give you a whole course on all the ins and outs and problems of dealing with the state and dealing with these different agencies. So he's applied for $235,000. You might say, "What are we going to do the park?" We're going to do the park. We're going to find out in August, yes or no, whether we get the $235,000. If we don't, we're going to go ahead with $180,000. But if we get the $235,000, we can do everything that we have envisioned for that park. And I'm talking about Wayside Park, Waymart High School. My reunions is Friday. I retired 65 years ago when I graduated from Waymart High School. And Waymart High School means so much to me to go to that park. I see Waymart High School. And I'm so thrilled with the ideas that Jason has from Woodland Design of what this is going to be. The park is going to be, trust me, as good as any place you ever find. So that's that grant.
And that design isn't set in stone yet, so if and when we get that $235,000, we want everyone to come in and give us their opinion like they have on all these other grants and everything that goes on in the town. The ball field, we had great collaboration with men's softball, Little League soccer. Everyone gave great ideas. Drew Morcom, Joe Vlad, everybody. When the park comes in, we will certainly advertise for that. We want everyone's opinion we want everyone to bring their ideas to the table and help us design things for everybody. Has nothing to do with just the 7 of us up here. It's the whole town.
I don't cut people off. If people give me suggestions, I go forward with it. And the last thing that I've applied for 2 other grants from the life packs for cottage hosts, the 3 life packs, and also from DCNR, DCED, that's the Department of Community and Economic Development, for the overhead doors. So the 6 overhead doors that are insulated. They have not been changed on the ambulance building and on the garage since they were built, since both buildings were built. These will be insulated doors that will keep the heat in and will be tight enough that it should be very helpful to the borough paying got so many requests and everything, they are not awarding it to September. So these two, you have to, it's a game that you almost play with these people, but you've got to have patience, number one, and you have to meet their criteria, period. So that's where we stand now, on every grant that we have been working on and awarded.
Any questions for Jane?
Yeah, thank you, Jay, for the update.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
Budget and finance.
Nothing.
Thank you, Teresa. Streets and roads, Shane. We decided to put off the road bid until next year. See if we can, hopefully prices come down with oil and chipping and paving. So that's the gamble we're taking, and our roads are in dire need, but we have 44,000 a year to put on the roads. Is that what it's showing? Roughly. In paving a mile, well, a couple years ago, was $60,000 a mile. We have $45,000 to play with. So, doesn't go very far when you see oil prices and gas prices where they're at. So we're in hopes that maybe after November, things will calm down a little bit, prices will come down, and in 2025, we'll take 2025 liquid fuels money, combine it with 2024, and maybe we can have a nice project and really get some work done. So that's where we're at with streets and roads. The signs, I know we have a grant for that, right, Jane? We talked about it, I know we had a list of signs.
And Don did a good job listing them.
Yeah, there's a lot of signs, there's a few
But-
hundred signs that we need.
But we need to know how much it's going to cost to take them down and to install the signs. And we don't have a lift truck. That makes a real problem, to replace 100 in some time.
We just knock them down, right?
Knock them down and shoot them back up.
Yeah. But anyway, that's where we're at with streets.
Well, I don't know if you want me to apply for another grant. When this comes up next month, I'll find out if you want another grant.
Okay. Parks and Rec, Craig, of course, he resigned. And I don't think, did anybody pick up Craig's paperwork for the parks? I don't think so. Utilities, Don Miller.
Nothing really.
Safety, Darren.
Nope.
Purchasing, Randy.
Nothing.
Okay, unfinished business. So now we are going to put a vote out to get this project for the Wilson Field. Well, actually, Joe, if you have anything you'd like to speak on prior to.
I don't have
You
any
spoke
further
to this.
action.
If we give it till July, we're still in this construction season, if we get review results. So I'd like to put a motion out
Well, hold on,
to conduct the review.
and that's fine, but I want to ask Joe, this review, so we have to think about if the peer review comes back and says we can change it, the whole thing changes. I don't think it's as cut and dry as a peer review, no? You can speak on to it
All
more
I can
so.
say is we need to get out to construction this year in order to hang on to the original leasing on our rate. That's $215,000. It's going to expire on December 31st, and they have refused to extend it. So you've got to work within that time constraint for that particular project. I don't know what else to say about that.
That's correct. It runs out. We're not speaking about the 550,000 now, we're speaking about the 215,000 that was going to be added to
Right.
the 550,000.
And if we get the results back, if they're not here, then that's it. But
What are we looking to accomplish with the peer review?
just to quiet all noisy voices involved. That's it, last attempt.
Joe, what does a peer review consist of? Have you ever been conducted?
I have done them before for other projects. I've had them done on my projects by other engineers. So they're basically just going to run through the plans, and essentially do what we have all been trying to do, find, any possible other ideas or approaches to maximize whatever objectives it is we're trying to achieve. Right now, I think it's just trying to increase the outfield fence limit. seems to be the only sticking point at the moment. So if that's the objective of the peer review, that's what needs to be communicated to whoever's gonna conduct the review.
Isn't the peer review second guessing all your work?
Peer review is really just confirmation of, whether we've checked all the boxes and
Or conflict?
done everything we could do to achieve the objective of the project.
Or conflict, not just confirmation, right?
Or conflict, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's really just to validate or invalidate the
Your work.
design on the table.
Thoughts? Questions?
Did anybody find out about the 550, if there were stipulations on that?
I did speak to Representative Fritz, and he said there's limited latitude. It still has to be used for a ball field.
Right.
Any deviation from what it currently is has to go before the state legislature, and they have to approve any revision, because it is discretionary funds that have come through the Senate and the House of Representatives. So, it would have to go back in front of the legislators, for approval. And, as he said, there's a lot of competition for that money, and, people look at that as an opportunity to grab funds for other things. So, that's the process. It'll have to go back to the legislature if it's used, or if you're looking to use it in a different way or on a modification of what it was intended for.
It was intended for the field, correct? So,
Again, it was intended as a match to the DCNR grant. That was the big leverage that was used to push this thing along so that we didn't lose the DCNR grant. So once it goes back to the legislature, it's their call at that point. The legislature will decide if you can modify it or not.
so in other words, if it's used for your design, everything's good.
That's what it was applied for, and that's what they granted approval for. So if you're gonna use it for something different, they have to review it and
What do you mean by different? Like not, if you didn't change the field, like rotate it? Is that,
the grant was obtained on the basis of closing a funding gap on a DCNR grant for the project the DCNR has approved. If that changes, then the legislature has to review the changes and determine whether or not they're going to allow the money to be spent on the revision. So at that point, the council will give up control to the state legislature to make that decision.
And the plans right now are what you showed us,
That's
that the
also-
softball team will have a hard time playing on.
Yes, and that is what is you currently hold a permit for with PADEP as well for erosion control and stormwater management. So all of that fits together. When you change one, you have to change them all. So you'll be back to DEP as well. And that's usually an 18-month process. So I think if you're going to make any modifications from where we are today, we have to assume that the DCNR grant is going to expire. You will not make that timeline, because you really need to be in construction this year.
So my question is, the person whoever does the peer review could either confirm or deny any of these statements. Like he would be able to find out the answers to all this, I would assume.
At the end of the day, then council still has to make a decision. Now, you guys have to make a
Could
decision.
the
going forward or
peer
not.
review be done in 2 weeks?
Excuse me?
Could the peer review be done in 2 weeks?
Why 2 weeks?
Well, just to cut down on the time.
I'm not an engineer. I
3
don't know.
weeks would be our next meeting. If it's
Yeah.
not done by the next meeting, it's null and void. It's not gonna happen.
Take you a month to hire somebody.
I thought
you said you already have, there already is someone that will look at it, correct?
No, we don't have to use them. Can we just get this out the
Yeah.
vote, please?
I
Let's
have
just
a
make it
person
vote.
interested, yes.
Do we have a motion on the table or not?
Yes,
We have an official, you made a motion?
yeah, to conduct a peer review, and if there's no results by next month, then that's it.
Yeah, we'll do a roll call for this.
I'll
Motion
second it.
to motion to conduct a peer review to maximize the objectives for the R.D. Wilson Field. Shane?
Teresa seconded it.
Daryl?
Well, yeah, Darren made the motion, Teresa seconded it, and then now we roll.
Okay. Shane Bailey?
No.
Donnie Miller?
Yeah.
Randy Thorpe?
Yes.
Jane Vorko? Teresa, yes.
Would you say Teresa?
Yes. I
Okay.
seconded it.
What's that?
I seconded it, yes.
Okay, so a motion passes to, for the peer review. So now we need to hire, engineering firm to do peer review.
It has to get decided today.
Yes, it does. Council?
Who is
Do
it?
you want a name? Can we throw names out there?
Sure.
Then I'll talk to Mike Wood, since he's already worked with us before. Woodland Design.
We're gonna make a motion to hire.
I'll make a motion to hire him as long as it comes out of the grant funds. Boroughs does not pay for this.
It won't come out of the grant funds.
No, I
But
don't-
all grant funds are assigned. For every grant.
Joe, you have anything to say about the peer review?
As
I mean,
far
the
as
funding, I
how
guess?
it's funded,
Yeah.
I don't know that DCNR would grant approval to do that. I think you would want to talk to the grant administrator, Ashley Schultz, and ask that question of her.
Anybody want to take the lead on the peer review?
I'll
Going
talk
once.
to Ashley Schultz, and I'll make a motion to hire Woodland Design on the condition that Ashley Schultz approves the funding.
In the event that Ashley says no, then we wasted a whole month.
Can I make a suggestion?
Well, not if
Sure.
I talk to her tomorrow and she says no, then
But we can't vote on it again until July.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can you put the field to a vote on conditional vote pending the outcome of the peer review? If the peer review says we have the best design,
that's a great
That's a
idea.
great
then
idea,
allow
Joe.
it to move forward. That way you don't have to wait another month to
Yes.
vote on it.
That sounds great.
Okay, we'll do a roll call for this one too.
Repeat the motion, please.
Repeat your motion.
So on the condition that, the peer review's not gonna happen, then we don't have to meet again, we're gonna put this out to bid before July meeting.
Okay. I'll second it. We'll do a roll call for this, yeah.
Okay, so Darren
Yes.
did the motion,
Yes.
and Shane seconded.
Yes.
Yes. Donnie Miller,
Yeah.
Teresa Stratton,
Yes.
Randy Thorpe,
Yep.
and Jane Vorko.
Yes.
Motion carries to put the bid out put the project out for bid. In the event we can't get the peer review paid for.
I have a question for Mr. Solicitor. Is the peer review something that can be privately paid for, or is that a conflict? Just a question.
Listen, anybody can bring anything before council. You have something from a reputable source, something from a disreputable source. And it's like the council, you can. It's up to council to give it the weight that it deserves and vote on it. Suggestion.
I don't know how much a peer
selection is a very good selection because Mike Wood used to be, used to come to all the meetings here in Waymart. He's very well acquainted with the ways that go with bottles and filter.
Okay, any other unfinished business?
So the deadline for the peer review is the next council meeting, is that what you said?
You say, Jane?
I forgot to say that, I did receive a bill for 3 vest carriers at $200 each. So that'll be deducted from the $10,998 that I still have left.
Okay. New business, housing authority, you're up.
Thank you.
Sorry for the wait.
Want to first thank council for having us here tonight. My name is Joe Velasquez, Director of the Housing Authority. My assistant, Alan Posca, Deputy Director, and our solicitor, Nick Rader. The county and the Housing Authority did partner to do a housing study, which was adopted by the county in February 2023. I have passed out takeaways, okay? And our proposal is, respectfully, there is a need, a dire need for housing. And we brought in a preliminary drawing of the sheriff. This is our office. This is Gravity Plains that was built in 1981, 30-unit family complex. We're proposing a 30-unit veterans complex on the property that we own. Takeaways from the housing study, if I could point to number 2, is Wayne County has a significantly higher concentration of veterans than the state, 11.2 of the population compared to 7.3. 39% of the veterans in Wayne County report at least one disability, compared to 19.9 for the general population. Finding suitable housing for veterans with disabilities is challenging in the current market. And Wayne County housing market has been dominated by seasonal homes, which are growing in market share. As a result, homes for full-time county residents are shrinking, especially for rental housing. There's a critical need to build additional housing in the county. This property, Waymart Borough has, it's a perfect scenario. There's gas, water, sewer, there is bank, churches, gas station, great park, pharmacy, great school. It just, we have the hospital, which has a fantastic veterans clinic, and we are approximately 40 minutes from the Veterans Hospital in Wilkes-Barre. Lastly, to our veterans, we owe a great debt to them and their families. All of us have the tools and the resources that go beyond just as a gratitude to do something truly great for the men and women who serve our country. And with your help, this right here could be a turning point for the veterans in our community. And
Thank you.
yes.
And how many acres do you have there?
Pardon me?
How many acres do you have?
A little over 2.
So is this gonna be restricted to just veterans, or it's geared towards veterans, but anybody can move it?
Veterans would have a preference.
Veterans have a preference.
So it would
Great
be
preference.
mostly 1 bedroom, possibly some 2 in case there's husband and wife that need separate bedrooms for medical needs. But the preference would be priority for veterans, elderly, disabled.
That's fine that that's preference. Is that gonna be codified?
Oh, yes, the preference for veterans,
Yeah.
the veterans would have the first priority.
Is that gonna be a policy?
Yes, it would.
So it's just a policy. Policies really don't have to be followed.
Oh, no, it would be under the administration
a lot of things, I see a lot of great statistics, and this is really an amazing study. I see from 2010 to 2020, minorities have increased from 8% to 12.5% in Wayne County. I see that the population in Wayne County from 2010 to 2020, population has decreased by 3.2%, by 1,667 people, while households have increased 169 new households, almost 1%. Is that fair to say? So it seems like we're in better shape now in 2024 than we were in 2010. We have almost 1,700 less people and 169 new households. Is that a fair statement?
But we're in an unprecedented real estate market.
Unprecedented.
I mean, it's the last since COVID, the real estate market for our rental community has been very extremely difficult.
I just looked on Realtor.com as we sit here. There are 681 homes listed in Wayne County right
If you look on page
What's their
44
monthly
of
cost,
the
though?
study,
now. Is that?
on page 44 of the study, that deals with the veterans. And the veterans population over on page 45, veterans disability status, population 18 years and over, Wayne County has a percentage of 19.9. Poverty status for Wayne County for veterans, 10.7. So, that is the veterans, if you were to just take a closer look at that.
Do you have a number of how many of the people that you surveyed, how many of the veterans percentage-wise are renting versus owning? Do you have that number?
Veterans on page 46. Okay, page 46. That has the percentage of veterans per township is.
For the county, page 46 is all the municipalities.
Yeah, anybody,
Anybody
we'll
who has
just pause,
a
we'll just pause for a second,
trailer?
anybody who's parked in the parking lot, we're gonna get out of the way.
Please.
Anybody in the parking lot?
That's blocking the trailer.
You don't remember this time period. Then Waymart Borough. I think you're gonna remember it very long time. Waiting for Shane.
My name is Alex.
So how big of this apartment's gonna be like? I mean, is it?
Square footage, yeah. It'll be similar to Hamlin Heights project,
Oh, okay,
very similar.
okay. Yeah, well, that was very nice. Love it.
What's the percentage of the actual use of the 2 acres you use up? All of it?
Yeah.
All of it. You probably would need a variance or something, I imagine, to, test proof.
Depending on.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause you can't use 100% of the property, you have to use like 30%, 40%.
And that would be pending whatever the final sign ends up being. So
Yeah.
that's not where this is a preliminary statement. I mean, I think that probably the one that probably jumps off the board actually is probably the primary access point on Gravity Plains Road. I think, anybody's gonna look at that and say that's not gonna
sure there's a lot more questions.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot more questions, but I would strongly suggest that no action be taken tonight for the simple reason you guys are just handed a book with probably 500 different statistics, and to make an informed decision, you should probably go through that. I think you're gonna have a lot of questions when you do. Obviously, Borough Council can do what they want. I have some more questions now. I'm running through doing quick numbers here, so they could be off. I hope they're not. I don't mean to misrepresent everything. It seems like there are 187 veterans in all of Wayne County below the poverty line. Is that correct? First of all, there's about 55,000 people in Wayne County, right? If I told you, according to some of your numbers in here, that there are 187 veterans below the poverty level, which presumably would have the need for this low-income housing, that would be 1/3 of 1% of the population of Wayne County, right? And how many units did you say? 30. So 30 of the 187 we would want here in Wayne. And I don't think anybody's against housing for low-income veterans. But I hate to see somebody come in here under the veil of we're helping veterans and then have that filled with a bunch of people that aren't veterans. I don't know if that's a concern of anybody else on Borough Council, but
And veterans will receive a priority.
that's good. How many veterans are in the present unit?
That we have,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, Mr. Gravity?
interaction.
One that I know of.
Out of how many units?
Third.
So
There's,
out of those,
well, the ones in the back don't count, these 12, they're family units.
Mhm.
And then I have 12, one veterans, and 6 two-bedrooms.
So right now, the 30 we have one veteran in.
That I know,
There's
that I know.
20, but those 30 consist of family units. We have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms.
And what are we gonna have? We're gonna have 1 and 2 bedrooms in these new units?
The makeup could be 25 ones and 5 twos, depending on the veterans.
And how many 1s and 2s do you have in the present facility?
I have 12 one bedrooms and
Okay.
6 two bedrooms.
So 18, and we have 1 veteran in those 18 units, is that correct?
That I know, I can speak of one veteran.
And you have the power to give preference to the present unit, right? To allow veterans to have priority.
No, we currently do not have a veterans preference.
And what prevents that?
Our administrative plan, which we are reviewing as we speak.
So you could modify the administrative plan for the present units, correct? To allow veterans to have preference for the present.
We own the units.
Right.
Right.
So you can make your own rules, right?
Well, based on what I've got, we'd have to present.
Based upon guidelines, but also that has to be board approval.
And the process for presenting a change in your guidelines to allow for veterans' preferences, Chris is asking in the existing property. How involved is that process to present that to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, federal government agency, by the way? And how long does that take, and what process is involved in
It would be
that?
a few months because we would need to present it to the board, our board of commissioners first. They would need to approve it. We would need to go through a public hearing, just like any others. Accept the public comments, see what they are, and we would go back to the board with the public meeting, the comments, and then the board would make the final decision.
So that process would be a heck of a lot shorter than the whole construction of the new units. Fair statement?
Yes, definitely.
But we do need housing in Wayne County, we both agree.
I don't agree on it based on the fact the population went down 1,667 people and new households went up 169. So I don't concede.
You don't agree on it?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not only that, would you agree that there are corporations now in business just buying houses for the sake of renting, which would benefit low-income people who need to rent? They're actually taking residential homes and increasing the rental
This
yield.
housing needs study was not done by our agency. It was
Understand.
done by an outside firm, and when considering a household can be one single person up to 4 or 5 bedroom family. So that's what it considers when this study was put into place.
I think it's a little biased, and again, I just breezed through this since the meeting started. And the reason I say there may be some bias, the one line on page 9 says the total number of households. Now this is This is all about facts, this thing, right? This study I've done is about facts, right? Just give us the numbers and we'll draw our own conclusions. Would you agree with that? But this one line just drew my attention. It says the total number of households increased by 0.8% during this period, adding just 169 net new households. That word just is very telling because it shows the bias. So that's just a little concern I have on the little bit that I did. So I think everybody here really needs time to look at this and not vote on it. But again, Council,
If I could just interject.
That's all I have.
Can we, you gave us a lot of information to take in. I want to take Chris's advice. Can we have a month before we decide exactly
Well,
what to do?
right now, we're only asking for a variance on usage.
That's the next thing. So it's zone, and I don't even know what it's zoned. We're not in our normal meeting room, so I don't know if you have the map memorized yet, Joe, but you probably don't.
No, not at all.
Of course you can tell.
You'd actually, like, I imagine just because of the usage of the size of the lot, you'd have to approach from the zoning board, and you would have to appeal, so I would deny your application.
Right, well, I can
On its face, I would deny it.
I can tell you, I don't know official, but I can focus around.
Yeah.
So this lot, both of these are currently two lots. There is one lot here, one lot up here, okay, and they're both currently owned by the Wayne County Housing Authority. Okay,
Can you just tell us what are the buildings around it to give us an idea what we're looking at?
So this is the existing gravity plane, housing development basically up here is this lot. Again, that's the Wayne County Housing Authority,
I guess the best way to ask is, where's the bar? We all know where that is.
The bar is someplace back up
I
here.
know where I am now.
Yeah, that's, should start with the right point of reference. Now, and I will note, this lot here is zoned as a rural residential, but obviously because we have a bar and an auto garage here, we already have two pre-existing non-conforming uses in a rural non-residential, or a rural residential zone. Okay, these two lots are currently zoned R1 low density residential. This sketch, this preliminary plan proposes to divide this existing lot, which has, right now, this is the Wayne County Housing Authority's office building. That's what's currently on here, it's just one lot. We're proposing to subdivide this lot into two lots, with the front lot fronting Carbondale Road being retained by the Housing Authority, keeping its office facilities there, and then the subdivided parcel here would contain the new housing complex, the Veterans Complex. Okay, so the proposal would be right now, and I can tell you when looking through the Waymart Borough zoning ordinance, that multifamily housing, such as what is being proposed, is not it's not a conditional use in an R1 zoning district. However, we would ask for a rezoning of actually not just this lot, but the existing housing authority lot to an R2 zone in order to, number one, so make this, because again, this is also another pre-existing non-conforming use based off of how this property is.
Instead of rezoning, why don't you just ask for a special use? Or a variance? That seems easier than get it rezoned.
Rezoned and then doing a conditional use.
That's what we're asking for.
That was the initial that was the initial thought, because then if this kid gets if this parcel and this parcel both get rezoned, number one, it cleans up this pre-existing non-conforming use.
Let me address that. We just rezoned for an ice cream shop, if I'm correct. I'm not the zoning solicitor. If I'm correct, we can't rezone anything for 3 years.
Yeah, it's true.
How recently was that?
A couple months ago.
You're gonna have to ask for a variance.
Okay,
Or a special use or something, it's not part of going in front of the zoning board. They're gonna have to decide if to give you that approval or not. Because it's not something you can do today.
Right.
We also need a zoning board.
But that's how the procedure works.
Aren't there apartments there already?
Yeah, they're up here. This is the existing Gravity Plains housing complex for the housing authority.
These are the three, you don't see the other part here.
Yeah.
Well, they're behind that one.
Yes.
I'm upside down, okay.
So what would be the purpose of rezoning the existing stuff?
The purpose of rezoning this, if we're
No,
possible.
the existing.
Oh, the existing, well, because right now this is a pre-existing non-conforming use. We would like, the thought was to basically clean that up to make this rezone it to an R2, which is under the zoning ordinances, high-density residential. To make that so this is now, it doesn't have a non-conforming use. And again, we think that, and ultimately we think that the rezoning of these parcels would fit the character of the neighborhood. As Joe touched on earlier, these parcels are uniquely, I think, suited to accommodate higher density residential housing, which with respect, I do think is still needed in Wayne County. And obviously, listen, there's a lot of facts that we provided in the housing study, and we should take some time to make sure everybody's, up to speed on those and has a chance to properly analyze those and come to their own conclusions. But like I said, this is uniquely suited to multifamily housing because of the existence of utilities, water, sewer, gas, utilities that aren't going to be possible. You're not going to be able to get a septic system approved for a 30-unit multifamily housing and a well to service that. There should be water into the sewer that services those properties for those needs. It should also be, you can't have a multifamily housing unit in the middle of nowhere. You've got to have accessibility to shops, restaurants, transportation. You can't send the Wayne County transportation bus out to the middle of nowhere on a dirt road and feasibly pick somebody up.
Hey, that's
Here,
all
this
good.
property that.
That's all good, but you're asking Waymart to bear the burden for the whole county, right?
Not necessarily. there are other, in Hallyboro, there's the Burger Street complex, which we have, we own that. Yes, there is the existing gravity planes here in Waymart Borough. But I think the other thing, in the zoning, in the housing study, there were multifamily permits that were issued. I think there were a total of maybe 5 or 6. I think I don't remember. I didn't have it handy, and they were in Canaan and South Canaan Township. There were 2. One was 2, one was 4 or 3. I forget. Like I said. So, and I understand that there was basically an increase in housing, a decrease in population. But again, the increase in housing is single-family residential units. Okay, these are single-family homes, and the overwhelming majority of those homes were constructed with the intent of being seasonal, second homes for people who are out of the area, which is great. That's nothing says that they can't come here and pursue whatever makes them happy here, for a vacation rental home. But then
Is that in here?
Yes.
Because it just says 169 new households, and again, I didn't have time to go through those.
Right, and
Does it say those 169 new households are all second homes?
not all. I'm sure not all second homes.
Is that one of the statistics in here, one of the charts? Do we have exactly how many of the 169
There are statistics in
are second homes versus primary residences?
Which are not, again, those residences aren't geared toward long-term rental housing for whether it be, veterans, elderly, whoever. They're geared for, if they're geared for rentals at all, it's short-term rentals on the VRBO market, Airbnb, those kinds of markets where obviously that's in a different demographic that you're marketing to. You're not marketing to veterans with disability, elderly with disability.
So let me ask this question, since it seems like you make up your own rules, right? Would you guys agree to put a restriction on that these can only go to veterans? You have that, first of all, do you have the power to just restrict it to veterans, yes or no?
No.
And what prevents you from doing that?
The HUD guidelines.
So we're actually under HUD, right?
We're going to fund it.
Okay, so if it's under HUD and we're subject to all those guidelines, you can't discriminate against anybody, basically, can you?
Have you approached the VA before?
If you can answer my question, under HUD, you can't discriminate against anybody. If somebody comes there for a home and they happen to be next on the list and they're not a veteran, you have to give them the unit, don't you? You can't jump that person with a veteran, can you?
Again, there's the preference.
I don't know, just answer that scenario if you could.
Goes to the preference on our administrator.
So if you have next person on the list and they're not a veteran, and there's a home open, and then somebody comes in behind them after them who's a veteran, does that veteran get to jump the next person on the list? Yes or no? Can you answer that, yes or no? Does that mean yes? Does that mean yes? They can jump the veteran will jump the next person on the list?
Okay, if I could just interject, so now's not the time and place to really iron out any of these differences. We've got a lot of homework to do. You guys are asking for specifically special use. Okay, so with that, can we have those plans?
That's your.
Okay, great. So we're gonna move on. Do you guys have anything else to present?
Just keep in mind, when you look at this, it is preliminary.
Right.
The access probably will not be here because there's a natural gas line right here. So more than likely, the access for this new complex would be coming up through our existing driveway, and this would more than likely be turned. Okay? So just keep that in mind.
Anyone else from council have any questions? Thank you for coming. I can see why it makes sense that you would want to put something like this there when there's already existing housing. I certainly understand that. We have many, many hoops to jump through. Thank goodness we have Joe on board with us now to help us through this.
One last thing, the county commissioners commissioned this study. It was RFP. This company was awarded the RFP. If there's any specific questions relating to the project, because this took a year to do. Any data questions that you want, please email them to me, and I'll get a hold of it.
Okay. Now, is this, the clock has started, correct, Chris? Is that
Well, are you guys making a formal application tonight? That's gonna
So
start.
we don't have a formal application, correct? This is just a preliminary presentation? Correct. Is there an application in hand?
So you're not requesting any formal action tonight? You're not starting the clock ticking under the borough code?
Correct. We were bringing this for informational purposes, just to get some advisory, opinions on where we were going with this, and in terms of what the process was going to be.
And just so we're clear on the record, you would waive any rights you have regarding deadlines starting tonight. Is that a fair statement? If you tell me the clock started, we're ready to start. So if you want to waive that for tonight, we just don't want to get caught with the clock ticking and have a deadline.
Well, quite honestly, we came here with the intention of thinking that we were going to be able to rezone from R1 to R2. It doesn't sound like that's a possibility based off of what's happened.
I don't think so, Nick. I think what we saw with the ice cream parlor, once we went and rezoned the section, I think there's a provision, you have to look at that, that you can't rezone for another 3 years.
Factually, I wasn't aware. So that's that changes our proceedings. So maybe that's special.
Well, that's gonna have
We're gonna need the application of the zoning.
we're gonna need to fill out an application for a special use. You have to go in front of the hearing, and you're gonna have to present that to the hearing board.
To a zoning hearing board right, that we're still wondering who's making that up.
So what do we do that?
I was a solicitor for 10 years for the zoning hearing board. We never had a case. Now we're getting them every 3 months.
That's why we're here.
Technically, we do have a zoning hearing board, sort of. So, Chris is it, what's that?
We get an application to fill out to do the special use.
Right.
Yes, that's what
And if we could revisit the issue, we could have a 3-person zoning hearing board. We could have 3 or 5. Or we could just choose.
Okay.
I would like you to follow up what Darren said. I had understood when I met with you a year or so ago about this project. I thought at that time you were going to apply to the Veterans Administration.
Apply?
Yeah, for funding. You know me, I love grants. But,
If I may, the Wilkes-Barre Housing Authority, the way HUD works is, the Housing Authority nearest to the Veterans Hospital, which would be the Wilkes-Barre
Yeah.
Housing Authority,
I was there yesterday.
has what's called WASH units. That complete design for one building. Okay? A lot of paperwork.
I imagine everything's
I don't have
paperwork.
time. We're gonna project base from our inventory to alleviate all that, to help the
But you
business. To answer you, that,
We're
hopefully that
not
answers
agreeing,
your
we're not
It sounds like
disagreeing at all.
you're
I don't want, we can't
through a
compete against
veteran
Wilkes-Barre, we can't.
organization sponsored by HUD. It doesn't sound like you're going straight to the VA. Correct?
The VA could actually, what's called porting. If they have a person that's a veteran who's homeless,
No, I mean for funding.
for funding,
Right,
Yeah.
to fund your project, instead of using HUD to fund the project.
It's HUD money, but it's
It's
coming
HUD
through
money.
our inventory. We don't have to go for that special loss voucher, which requires a lot of paperwork.
Right, but I think we're asking it because if you, the scenario got brought up, like, you can't deny if it's HUD money. You can't put that stipulation that it's only veterans because it's HUD funding. But if you get funding through the VA instead of HUD, wouldn't you be able to put that stipulation out as a
we're not going to get funding through the VA. That's not going to happen.
And that's because of the basically the preference or whatever, I guess that's the right word, the preference for the VA funds
VA
for the
funds,
Wilkes-Barre
right,
area
something
housing authority.
Totally different, not
Yeah.
through HUD.
Karen, we would never get that,
Alright.
yeah, through the Veterans Administration.
Why not? Why not?
Because of what I said.
Because there's
The housing authority nearest the hospital gets the money.
which is gonna be the Luzerne County or the Wilkes-Barre.
So we could possibly, a scenario, have somebody from Wilkes-Barre who holds that voucher as relatives in Waymart and want to report to our complex. That we would have to accept.
Isn't everything
But
complicated?
we feel it's better to use, well, we have the inventory to do it, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do, let's do more.
So, in other
Financial
words,
way,
we could take
better
people from the waiting list plus people from Wilkes-Barre.
Any other questions from council? I know where were we at when, you asked for what paperwork now? And maybe Joe can help us out with this?
Just give me your card where I'll give you, I'll email to you.
So it's first application, then it goes to you?
I'll deny it, and then you'll go to
Well, he has to deny it because it doesn't fit.
Right.
And you deny it, and it goes to.
The zoning hearing, which, we technically, we do have a zoning hearing board. We're down to 3 members. Chris is still the solicitor for that as well.
I can't be the solicitor.
You can't.
Can't be both.
Okay.
Okay.
So you probably want to give
Do you
Rich
have to
Henry.
name those 3 people tonight?
Actually, the zoning hearing board has to hire their own solicitor. We can't be involved with that decision. It's a totally autonomous group from Borough Council, and so is the attorney. They hire their own solicitor.
Okay. Once again, I know it's a book, but any questions that you may have, we will answer.
So just so we're clear, there's no application for anything. Tonight, informational purposes, we threw you a curve with that 3-year deal from what you were asking. So you're going to resubmit or for the first time put an application into a zoning officer. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll get it by tomorrow. No problem.
Thanks again. Thank you.
I'm sorry, they don't actually have, of course, but, I can give you my information, I'm not just for
Probably not. I'd love to be able to name 3 members tonight with this zoning and just get this, but I don't know, if we have 3.
Well, name the 2 we have, and then we'll search for the Who we're sitting on.
Well, yeah, I know Aaron's interested, right?
Yes, sir.
Aaron, did you know?
Yes, sir.
Still here?
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry. It's under new business. I mean, we can make a motion to form a zoning and hearing board. We also need to find a solicitor though.
Yeah.
They have to find it. They do that
Oh,
themselves.
okay, so, do we have a third? Wayne?
Wait a
I
minute.
I respectfully decline.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'll hop on with Aaron, you know.
Okay, so that's
There
good.
you go.
Right, okay, so, can we
And I'll
make a,
suggest to them and a solicitor.
Solicitor, do they have to be all residents of Waymart?
Yes.
Then we can't accept Jordan.
yeah, you really?
My address is 404 Homestead Road, Jane.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, I thought you lived out Creek Road. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jay?
No, thank you. I respectfully decline. And everybody, I think, has to fill out one of those residency affidavits, so.
Oh, so that is three then, Jordan.
Was it Lillian? Is she the vacancy?
Lillian, it was Lillian.
I did her close, I know. But wasn't she, is she the vacancy, Lillian? Okay.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Lillian, Maria, and myself. Obviously,
Oh.
I can't.
Oh, yeah, okay. so
Lillian
we're-
moved away,
Yeah.
and you got Maria Miller.
Yeah, it can't be anybody on Borough Council.
Right, okay, so we have Maria, Aaron,
And Jordan.
Jordan, Aaron, yeah, okay. Anybody else?
I thought you had those on the list.
Gear, G-E-A-R-Y.
Okay.
What's that?
That young lady was
Yeah, no, she's on the list.
You have three?
Well, we got
A-A-R-O-N.
Janelle, we got Aaron, we got Jordan, and we got Maria Miller.
That's four.
Yes.
But you need an alternate.
They just need three.
Is it the fourth for the
The
alternate?
fourth one could be an
Well,
alternate.
then take the three there.
All right, the fourth one is an alternate, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
have an
have an
alternate. That's correct.
Okay.
so make those three the main ones.
Jordan, alternate? Okay. All right, we're getting it together. Was that? Yeah, we should make a motion for that. Motion?
I make a motion that we appoint Aaron,
Janelle?
Phil, and.
You know, we know who you are, don't worry.
And Marie is already a member.
Fire alarm,
And Maria's already a member.
And with an alternate of Jordan.
Okay, and I need to say this, okay? They need to, if there's three, it's a 3-year term. If there's 5, it's a 5-year term. And they can't finish at the same time. So I don't know how long everyone's been on. So if we're appointing 3 new people tonight, one needs to be appointed for 1 year, one needs to be appointed for 2 years, and one needs to be appointed for 3 years, so that there's a new appointment every year,
Okay.
okay?
Well, Maria's already on it, so.
Okay.
Do we know what year she is in her
One.
term?
What's that?
One.
One?
She's in year 1?
Okay.
Okay, so
But that, meaning last year, right?
Yeah.
so this is her 2nd year?
Mhm.
Yes.
So one of them should get a 1-year term, and the other one should get a 2-year term, or actually a 3-year term. Then we'll have a 1, a 2, and a 3. I'm not the math guy.
Any volunteers for the 3-year?
I'm going nowhere.
All right.
3 delivery.
So Aaron will be 3, Janelle 1, and Maria's
Now
2.
Maria's in her 2nd year.
Okay.
And her term will expire then this year.
Is there an expiration date for the alternate?
Or, no, I'm sorry, she'll expire next year.
Okay.
The 1 year will expire next year, and she'll expire the year. Okay.
All right.
Does the alternate have an expiration date as well?
I don't think so. That's a good question though, Teresa, but I don't think so.
Jordan has an expiration.
Jane made the motion, right?
Who made the motion, who seconded it? Aaron seconded.
Darren seconded it.
And just so we're clear, the 3 appointees are not employees of the municipality in any way, right?
Correct.
And neither of them hold any other elected or appointed offices in the municipality, correct? That's good.
Oh, so we're good? We're good to vote?
Good question, Teresa. The term of office of the alternate is 3 years, so Jordan should be appointed for a 3-year term as alternate. And if somebody resigns, he gets on.
so all in favor to vote Aaron Erie for a 3-year term, Janelle for a 1-year term, Janelle Geary, Jordan Thompson for a 3-year alternate. All in favor?
Maria.
No, you don't have to mention Maria, she's on.
Okay.
Right.
Yeas?
Yay.
Yay.
Nays? Motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. We're really,
It's another,
Your check's
another job.
I was gonna say, you forgot to put it no pay.
Your check's in the mail.
yeah,
And you'll be getting your name.
big things are happening in Waymart. Okay, and Joe Eunice, I don't know if you guys have met Joe Eunice yet. He's our new zoning code enforcement officer. He can work with you directly and help you appoint a solicitor.
I can, yeah, I'll give you a suggestion.
Okay.
You do what you want.
Ones that do it for free?
I only chatted with Joe
You
for a
even
little
have to hire a
while.
stenographer for hearings. It has to be recorded. Because it has to be that.
Yeah, that's your hearing. There's no hearing at the next level. You're hearing, just like we just had. The
And they
hearing
can-
is
no,
here, and that record
Yes.
is established here.
So if you deny it, they can appeal to municipal court after that. It goes to the county court.
Okay.
They can make your decision for you if these guys choose to, let's just say the zoning denies it, for whatever reason. Or approves it, but anybody can appeal it as well.
Okay. So these people are getting an application for you, you deny it, and then they're gonna go in front of
They're gonna, yeah,
our new zoning.
they're gonna have to, I'll give them an appeal application, so they can appeal it. They're gonna have
To the zoning board.
To the zoning board. They're gonna have to pay a fee, an application fee no matter what, even if I deny it, they have to pay a fee.
Okay.
And then they're gonna have to pay for the zoning hearing board on top of it afterwards.
And you're gonna have to, this council is gonna have to appropriate funds for them, for their attorney and for their, court reporters and things like that for you.
But the money comes back with the fees that they'll have to pay to for the hearings.
Okay.
I think it's $1,000 in this charge. I'm not sure, I don't have paper that.
That sounds about right.
That's right.
So $1,000, that money will come out of like, the attorney,
Yeah.
whatever you charge, and the stenographers are $200.
Okay. Any other questions on this issue at hand? No? So I had a request from Attorney Henry to announce an executive session in regards to the conditional use hearing out at the Mallard Meadows building with ARH. So we need to vote on an executive session to be held at 6/18/2024, which is next Tuesday at 5:30.
Can you take a vote at an executive session?
I don't think you can. I think you deliberate in executive session.
No, yeah, it's not for voting purposes.
So I think you guys get together like a jury in the juror room. And again, I shouldn't be advising you on this, Attorney Henry should, but I think what happens is you all get in the room like a jury and you deliberate, and then you come out and vote after your deliberations and discussions.
Well, we don't vote until July. This is just, he wants to go over his opinion and,
That's it.
yeah. So we're not voting at this
So
executive
what's
session.
the date?
6/18, which is Tuesday. It's Tuesday, 6/18 at 5:30.
Is this,
That's,
Shane, is this something that our
Oh.
zoning officer will be attending as well?
I don't believe so.
He should-
Or-
You definitely want him there to explain things.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
nice to be there.
You're gonna have a lot of questions, I presume.
I mean, unless we do it before the meeting in July, we could just have him come an hour
I'd
prior to the
rather
meeting.
have it before that, because
Yeah.
next week I certainly can't come.
Okay. So Teresa said you couldn't make this one?
I can do Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday at 5:30?
Yes.
Okay. So we just have to vote on this.
You don't have to. You can't come.
Yeah, Tuesday the 18th.
So
Yeah.
we have to make a motion on this date,
For the executive session.
okay? I don't know where it is. A motion for an executive session to meet with
Attorney Henry.
Attorney Henry on Tuesday at 5:30, which is 6/18/24.
Correct, you have to put the reason on the record. For what reason?
Conditional use,
For deliberation
for
and discussion.
deliberation of the conditional use hearing regarding a, what is it, ARH?
Yeah. Yep, perfect, thanks, Teresa. Second? Who? Donnie? Darren?
Darren.
Okay, Teresa made a motion, Darren seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Motion carries. No? Jane said no?
Yeah, I said, come.
So the last thing is under new business. The fire department had approached us a few months ago about gear, and we still have some funding left in
Not enough to buy one set.
the American Rescue money.
Yes,
Yeah. What do we have left? What's the balance?
10,800 or something.
Well, I think one set is 5,500. So
Oh, I thought it was correct now.
No, one set around 55, 80.
I have a quote, I think the quote, like, two full sets was 10,000
Yeah.
some odd.
I think that's about right. Now, we don't have the money for the two sets, but I mean, if there's something that council would like to put towards a piece of the gear, maybe not the
The
entire.
police submitted for 3 vests tonight, $200 each. So that's $600, and I guess they have another one, so that'll be $800.
Is this the what we use the grant money for? Is that something different? Remember we got a grant for the vest?
He said, didn't he say he was gonna come into work?
Is that what these are for?
No, this is for the American Rescue money, we were talking about how much is left over. So if I got the $600, that's a whole different call, that's what she's talking about. Because the money hasn't come in, the half that they applied for. Remember I told them to apply for it? But $600 off this would be, you would have 10,000, about 10,400 left. Because we're gonna forget about the, computer, because I've asked for 3 months for a bill to the computer, and I don't have one. So we'll forget about it.
Okay. So, council, we can talk about the gear for the fire department, that, you know, even if we don't do a full set, maybe half a set, 2,500, is that reasonable to use out of the American Rescue money?
I think we should.
But if we get one, you said 5,500 for one set?
Yes, ma'am.
It's still gonna leave us over $4,000 if there's anything little that is needed. I think we should get a full set. A half a set is not really gonna do much.
Did you pay our lawyer?
It's a hell of a lot.
Should our lawyer pay
It's on
that?
the bill, did you see on the bill this month?
But can the lawyer actually come out of the American Rescue Fund?
No, not, that's general fund.
This is a separate,
Yeah.
completely different fund.
I think we should get a full set.
I agree with you.
And not only that, it's gonna help with, what was that house for the,
ISO.
yes,
The
for
ISO
our home insurance.
Yeah, so the ISO, I tried to explain it last month, I never did it right. If you could just explain it again for the record, I know it sounds like a broken record, but it's a great
ISO
broken
is the
record.
Insurance Services Office, and, every so many years it's reviewed, it'll be basically your apparatus equipment, how much water, your distances, your members, your certifications the members have, their gear, and they base it general in the area within the borough, and who we serve, your homeowner's insurance is based off the ISO rating, basically how much of a risk, how much can we do that helps, that could save a total loss versus a partial loss in the event of a fire or accident, and that's what your homeowner's insurance base is based off an ISO rating. For the most part, you know, that's what they come in, they basically audit. Do you ever do an ISO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a big circle. And
Right.
then there's like a couple of circles, and they keep getting wider, and then like, you know, your first dispatch will do this one, your first dispatch units, and how much water you bring to the scene, what your first units are, Is there a ladder? How much, is there a pumper? Is there taker? How many hydrants are in this one area? It's all based off that kind of stuff.
Any ponds?
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
Basically, yeah, trying to sum it up, basically, it's a risk factor of they figure in how well we do, how much we can save the insurance. You could have a fire with our response, be soon enough to save it before it's a total loss, and then your insurance would be, they base your homeowner's insurance rates off the ISO rating of how we're able to respond. Like right now, with the new rescue, we count 4,250 gallon of water. That's just what's rolling out this door that we're bringing with us, minus your ponds, your hydrants, or the other 6 departments on your box coming on it. You know, and so that amount of water coming increases your ISO rating. Safety gear certification, how many certifications, like your members have certification, Fire One, EV rescue certifications that they go through, that all affects the score. And in the end, it's the safety gear counts more than what your ISO ratings on the thing, with the expired gear and all we have coming in, you know.
We can have 50 members, but if we only have 10 showing up in gear that's not expired, it's not doing much.
You said a gear drops your rating too, like, you know, whether it's like 0.7 or whatever it is on your ISO rating. But when you got, you know, we're 30 people right now, we've had the best we've ever had. You
Yeah,
know,
so if I'm saying this correctly, the recent updates and work that you guys have been doing to your equipment, it has caused the ISO to come down, is that how that works?
To increase, the better.
Okay.
We went from 1,000 gallons on the engine, 300 gallons on the rescue, to 1,000 on the engine, 750 on the rescue. Went from having a truck with four personnel truck to a 6 personnel truck to respond. So now the amount of people we can get out between the trucks and stuff, our SCBAs or air packs, we got a grant for them. You know, we got a grant that helped us with them. They're all new and up to date. We took a personal loan and bought the HRSA tools, the rescue tools, Jaws of Life and hole cutter, rams and all for accidents that are cordless, that we don't gotta run off hydraulic pumps and all. So that increases, you know, your response rate, your response times and rates and all there, so.
So one last thing, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but so with the lower the ISO, our homeowner's insurance is look at the ISO.
Right,
And
your
how does
homeowners,
that affect the homeowner's?
your homeowners is based off the ISO. So your insurance company within the area of the ISO, like the Insurance Services Office, that would base that there's a rate base, basically your rates. If we're a smaller department, less personnel, less water, you pay a higher homeowner rate due to the risk of a fire response. The more you're showing up with, the more certificate people, water supply, distances of where we're going. I mix it up all the time, and I can't say for certain. I believe it's the lower the number,
The
lower the number, the better.
the better your home is considered protected against
Better
fire damage.
Okay, and our homeowners.
And it would be,
That's how the homeowners looks at the ISO rating.
Okay.
and that would be a decrease or an increase in homeowners. And that's done, I believe it's every 5 years. Correct.
I'm not quite sure. What's your rating at?
I think it's every 3 years, isn't it?
Is it 3 or 5? Yeah, maybe 2.
My father for 55 years, and he would almost cry because we didn't have the equipment. And
Right.
He was a charter member of the fire company, and it was just awful to get all this equipment. And then he had to sell the insurance policies, and they were so high because the rate was so high.
Right, right. So that basically the borough's insurance, each homeowner, the borough, a majority of their home insurance policy and rates are based off of our ISO score. And we've been improving since the last ISO. I know we're almost 1.5 points just off of apparatus, the tools, the apparatus, and everything we do to the better. I believe it's a half a point just on any apparatus that's over 500 gallons of water.
Great.
At the best to sum it up, it's a lengthy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. There's a lot of.
They want to know how many gallons every hydrant is flowing. They want to know the distance from hydrants to the majority of the houses, the distance of the intersections, response times, how many personnel. Waymart for the longest time was not known, but showing up, a set of 4 to 6 person people showing up on a call if your house is on fire. Right now, we're showing up with 16 to 18 guys for a branch on the road. Fire police call with the car in the ditch the other night at midnight, 12:30 at night. We had 13 people with 2 chief officers on a fire police call. We had a tree down up by the housing, by the gravity. And we had 16 guys, 3 chief officers. You know, the response that we have now is outstanding. It's more than it's ever been. The downside is it's hard for a department. We're 100% volunteer and 100% funded through donations. So when we went from a department of having 4 to 6 show up to a department of having anywhere from 15 to 20 on a fire call with only 14 sets of gear. Where good people voted in last night.
Okay.
So basically that's where we're at is we have the, as far, we just went and bought pagers, another $5,000 in pagers and all just to, there I think is 9 people that don't even have pagers to respond and even know if there was a call with the exception of a phone one, but.
I hate to say this, but there's lots of grants for that.
Trust me, we paid, it cost us about, I think we paid $4,000 to the grant writer on the thing.
You know, we raise grants, Jane?
We did just send 3 of our,
I never got paid $4,000.
And then we just sent, we saved 3 of our members.
went this past week to Scranton, the certificate from Temple, John Bursley
Yeah, I know,
grant.
Gavin told me about it.
Yeah,
That's wonderful, but you need to go to the Northeast Alliance, they're the ones that really teach you.
That'd be
But
wonderful.
that's a good background for you, because the world of grants is beyond your comprehension. I mean, we're talking about thousands of grants.
Just the parade and all the other day, not just the parade, but the picnic and all, and you've seen what the department has grown within the community. Of what we, over years ago to what the involvement and the relationship with the borough, the residents, not that it was ever a bad, I was talking to Shane earlier, not that it was ever a bad, but now that there's a drive of, we wanna do more within the borough, for the borough, we wanna be part of the borough. And like I said, the thing now, the good problem to have is we're outgrowing everything we can do, and, I mean, you're sitting in everything, this is everything we have. You know, when we're sitting, this is everything the department has, and, you know, our help, we don't ask for fuel. You know, we pay our own fuel bills, we pay, you know, everything, the borough pays our insurance, I believe, the comp insurance.
Yeah, that's.
Other than that, we do everything. Asking for a set of gear is not a cheap, it's not that it's a low cost or a cheap thing, but it's a big help to a department like this. And what it does is it's unimaginable what a simple set of gear is in the world now and what it does to us. That whole parade, barbecue, everything else, what went on in the last week, in the last 2 months worth of work, what was profited would cover about 1.5 sets of gear. So if we took that's one of our biggest fundraisers for the year. So, you know, you see these events, but these events are where it is, where that set of gear is, the money we made off the picnic and everything could go to our liquid fuel bills, our propane bills, our light bills, or, you know, the other bills we have.
Our loans for the new truck, our loans for the new tools.
All your rescue tools, all your Hearst tools now, the hydraulic Hearst tools and all, that was a loan we took. We have a monthly payment on that loan, everything is a volunteer department. So a set of gear is it's a big thing for us, and especially right now in a growing department. A lot of departments they're losing members, they're begging for volunteers, and Waymart right now is booming in the area. And that's a good testament to, I believe it's a good testament of what we're doing here, or what we've made changes, or what we're doing within the community.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, it's certainly not going unnoticed, for sure. Yeah, everybody's.
So it is, and we appreciate everything that the borough does, and like I said, we try and stay right on. How many times Shane, Darren, like, here's what we got coming up, here's what we got going on, what do you need? You know, we set trucks down, but, you know, we'll give you, we want to work, we want the relationship of working with them. We want the borough to call us, and we wanna be able at times of need to call in the borough.
Well, we're here tonight. so,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys are, our new zoning board, so you keep hanging out, we'll just keep giving you more to do. Yeah, so we'll get back one way or another.
And we volunteer here because you wanna help, so.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So I think we have a motion on the table for the.
I'll make a motion to buy one set of gear for the fire company.
In the amount of $5,500?
$5,500, I believe you said it was.
Aaron, where's that quote?
I submitted one to the borough, and the other copy of it.
I
do
think
not
Heather
have
probably
with me.
has it.
Yeah, I submitted, the original quotes went to you guys.
Yeah, so.
There was a copy that Chief Raynerson does have, he's the one that secures the quotes, so.
Yeah, but we could do, I think it was, why don't we just do, not to exceed 5,500?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And even if it was over, whatever, we could cover the different, you know, we could cover, but anything to help. Anything to help. If you guys can help, if you guys can buy a set of gear and ensure we could cover the other thing, but to just, we already bought 4 sets this year alone. And like I said, we have people without gear. That was just something that we did come to the borough and ask.
One of them we kind of had to buy because we kind of promised people when they get interior firefighting, Fire One, that we buy them a brand new set of gear because rightfully that's right. And one of our members, they changed the law in Pennsylvania, you could have Fire One, all pro board cert across the United States at the age of 17. And he did it, he was the first one in this, pretty much the area, to get firefighter one at 17 years old.
Wow. Jesse, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jesse Babcock. So I mean, he could go, before, he turned 18 right after the class was over, but before he turned 18, he could have been in a burn building.
Wow.
It used to be, you had to be 18.
As a volunteer too,
Yep.
not in case.
16 to, like you could take the basic vehicle rescue, you could be a technician now at 16. Used to be 18, which you could use all the tools, the hydraulic tools and battery operated hydraulics to cut cars apart. Used to be you get your awareness and your operations at under 18 and have to wait till you're 18, but it has to be within a year of the end of the class. So kids at 16, if they took it, couldn't get their technician until they were 18, so they'd have to take the whole entire class over again. But now it's everything 16 with Fire One and BVR.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
That was one of the sets we bought. I don't know the people that have it.
Yeah, I believe we do have a motion on the table.
Yes.
By Darren, made by Darren?
No, I made it.
Made by Teresa, seconded by Darren, all in favor? Aye. Nays, motion passes to buy the fire department a set of gear.
We cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And give me the bill, okay?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Anything under,
Yes,
anything else
ma'am.
under business?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Mr. President, I was asked by a borough employee about that garage that is down in the baseball field. Who approved it? What is it for?
Oh, that shed.
Oh, yeah. We, Drew Morgan came to us, I don't know, last year maybe, and he bought that. They just needed a spot to put it. But yeah, he came to us and we voted on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shed for, I don't know what he has in it, storage for Little League. But Drew approached us maybe the beginning of this year. Does anybody remember?
It's quite a long time.
It was a while. Actually, I think it might have been last year.
Yeah, I think it was last.
I think it was last year. Fall, maybe? But yeah, no,
If
we.
you have an approximate time, I can look the video up.
That's okay.
I couldn't even tell you. But I do remember him
It'd be
coming
easier
in.
to ask him, you know?
Yeah, that's set in stone. Anything else? Yep, you're welcome, Mr. Mayor. Anything else under your business? And so I think we can adjourn. We need a motion to adjourn.
We have the planning commission.
What's that?
We have the planning commission.
We have, he's not here yet. He didn't speak yet.
Someone help me? What?
He's here for the plan.
Oh,
Yeah. Remember Dave?
no, please help me out.
I submitted a letter last week
Oh, yeah.
for the subdivision for the Salvation Army.
Oh,
And
no.
we submitted it to the county. Should have got your letter back.
If we got it back, nobody put it in my box, I didn't see it. But I would believe what you say. But I know I could have run over to the girl building, so I don't know when the last time right to the county. So we get there, so read the letter, or somebody read the letter.
You wanna read it?
Wayne County Department of Planning, GIS, Waymart Borough Council, regarding the Salvation Army subdivision additions, lot 1, 10.195 acres as a new lot with remaining acreage, 75.355 acres of tax parcel, 28025142 and 28025142A as an addition to tax map partial 28-25143 to form one lot of 173 acres, so 173.84 plus acres. Where we're talking about is South Street, where I live. You go up the street and across from Wayne Woodlands and also starting from Laurel Place, it's all that land between that and the former Corral House. So they're asking to have that subdivided so that we can get more taxes in Waymart. It's non-taxable because it belongs to the Salvation Army right now. So dear Borough Council, in terms of the requirements of section 502 of Act 247, the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code, we have.
This is the part where they started logging.
Basically, they cut the trees down,
Yes.
they add trees everywhere.
There was a lot of ash trees, I was so afraid they're gonna fall
There's
on.
still a lot of action there.
The Code of the Borough of Waymart, Chapter 22 subdivision and land development, and Chapter 27 zoning were used as the regulatory basis for our review and the source of the following comments. And this is by Debbie Barco, planning technician. She is not related to me in any way, shape, or form. The tax parcel number for the property of Maine Memorial Long-Term Care is listed on the plan as 28-10 PCL 5.
Okay, so that particular piece is the 20-foot strip between the two Kanowski properties. I had it down as parcel 5, and it should have been parcel 2.2, which I have corrected and
You did correct.
revised that.
And the department planning has this in the letter here.
And the other issue was on the Gagolsky property. There's 2 tax map parcels. I had them down both as 15, when the one that fronts on South Street was actually 14. So I revised that as well.
And that is in the letter. It will be important for a perimeter deed describing the addition of 75.355 acres to tax parcel 28-25143, 98.48 acres per tax assessment, to be prepared and recorded in the Wayne County Register and Recorder's Office subsequent to the borough's subdivision plan approval and recording. This will result in a deed record that is consistent with the approved map record. Please contact our office should you have any questions.
So I have prepared a draft deed for that proposed conveyance from the Salvation Army to the Salvation Army. Sectionally joining or adding the one piece to the other, because Salvation Army has multiple tracks by virtue of separate indentures. So the remaining lands of the 75 acres will be added to the adjoining lands, and that's that 195 acres or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So,
With the letters right there.
so we do have a draft proposal on that have to be.
So everybody understands we're talking about South Street from Laurel Place up to the former Corral House. I'm not sure who lives there. That's what we're talking about.
So, this is the first reading, so what are you asking for now? We have to vote on this to be subdivided? Is that what we're doing?
Just a sort of subdivision approval.
Okay, does this
I
seem
got,
to
I got a problem, it wasn't on the agenda. I don't think you could take official action if it wasn't on the agenda. I'm gonna move on.
Is this something that needs to go into our zoning board?
You should look at it.
Yeah, I mean, no, but the planning commission will make the final decision. I don't
zoning district's right on the map. Proposed land use as permitted is in the zoning regulations. There's nothing being proposed at this time.
The problem is it's not on our agenda, so any of these neighbors who would have an objection to it, and I don't know why they would, but they have to be given the right to at least come in if they do object to it.
Object to the subdivision. How would they even know it was under there?
We would have to put it there.
We post our, don't we advertise our agenda?
No, well,
Well, this letter came out the 3rd, June 3.
yeah, third, well,
Okay, folks, I think it's a violation of the sunshine. It's not on the agenda, you can't take official action on something.
well, it's never been on the agenda before.
Well, I know, Jane, but we keep going back to things a long time ago, laws change. This is a new one. It says you can't take official action on anything. It's not on the agenda, otherwise it's a violation of the sunshine act. Unless it's an emergency, that's an exception to it.
Well, I'm gonna give everybody a copy of the sunshine law. I have a copy of it,
You do that.
and I don't see that in their law.
Is this
Why
will be
we
open
ask?
anyway? It's the first we're seeing it, so it's a lot for
Just-
us.
There's no houses on it, there's no residence, there's no development on it, there's nothing on it. It's just land, period, land.
Well, then we can wait another month, there's no rush.
Well, if it's, wait a minute, if it's just land, then no laws apply to it. That's your point, Jane?
Can we wait till July to do
Do I
this?
understand you?
Do
No.
I have a choice?
I say we take the solicitor's
I'd
advice.
like to err on the side of caution.
Did everybody have time to read everything that's on here? I certainly did. I mean, we were given a book tonight and we were requested to take action on it. It's just good to know what you're voting on before you vote on it.
Council, any thoughts, concerns, ideas?
Yeah, we've been yelled at about the Sunshine Act before, so
We can,
probably follow those rules, no?
I agree.
I agree, Darren. I'll give you a copy of the sunshine law, and you can read it.
Actually, everybody go on Google to get it for themselves if you like.
we don't need to.
Some sources aren't good when they give you certain documents.
This came from the Borough Association.
Will you take this?
Okay, so Ed, if you, sure you
Can we
mind,
put
but
them in
we're
the
gonna have to
ground
wait
and let's
until,
go down and look at?
uh,
That way
Would
it's-
you like me to leave the map here so you have a
Please.
chance to review?
Please,
Do I have to bring it back next month?
No.
no,
no.
So the answer copy?
we have plenty of copies, yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. We have a copy,
We have a copy of that?
Well, we should have it in my mailbox, if somebody put it there,
Oh, that was the first mistake.
my mailbox,
Okay, can I ask why you delivered it to James Barclay's personal address?
because I'm head of planning.
Oh, no, it went to Heather Hess, Jane, it didn't go to you.
I know, and she puts it in my box.
Oh, okay, good, so.
At your house or the boroughs?
The boroughs.
can we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
What do you think?
I gotta reach out.
Start applying it.